Like to welcome the Bradley Braves, our student-athlete representatives. To my far left is sophomore forward Elijah Childs, and to my immediate left, senior guard Dwayne Lodier Ogunlier. Before we start, just a couple household chores. Make sure you silence your phones. If you have a question, raise your hand. Please give your name, media affiliate. No flash photography or video recording of any kind. At this time, we'll take questions for our Bradley Braves. Back row.
Hi, Kyle Austin, Grand Rapids Press in Michigan. For either one of you, you guys started 0-5 in conference play. What are some of the biggest things that changed with your team to kind of turn things around after that point?
We're going to start with Mr. Childs first, Elijah.
I think one thing to just work with is just staying with the game plan, just staying together as a team, encouraging each other day by day, just staying in the gym as well. Just keep working hard. Coach said stay the game plan and stay level-headed, and we knew we would come out of the slump. It was just a matter of time, and that's what we did, and we got the job done.
Dwayne?
Yeah, kind of what Elijah said. We had a meeting. We spoke about the season as a whole, and if we still wanted to pursue, keep going, and finish off strong. Everybody was committed. We doubled down on our work ethic, and we just came together and committed to make a change, and we were able to do it from the first win and just keep the momentum rolling until we are now.
Back row.
Sort of following up on that, when was that meeting, Dwayne, and who led it, and was there a certain point that made you think, okay, we've got to get this turned around? And the second thing is, in addition to just kind of the attitude you took, did you guys also start playing at a faster pace or make some defensive changes around that time too?
I know after we went 0-3, we sat down and spoke, but there was a big meeting after the fifth loss. It was just the seniors that kind of came together, as well as the rest of the players and the coaching staff, and we just sat down and we said, hey, this hasn't started the way we wanted to, but we still have time to change. And I don't think we really made major adjustments. I think we just concentrated more on the little things. We're a team that defends, rebound, and breaks well on offense. And we just really stayed true to ourselves, tried to maintain our identity. And once we got things clicking on one game, it just really started rolling, and the confidence grew. And once confidence grew, everybody started playing their roles even better than they were doing before. And that's what really helped.
Front row.
Question for both of you, please, gentlemen. Can you, Hondo Carpenter with Spartan Nation, can you please tell me what stands out to you each individually when you watch the Spartans on tape scouting them?
Start with Elijah.
Just the way they run an offense, they play at that pace, they don't beat themselves, we got to come in and execute our game plan and play at our pace and do what we do. But and just another thing, just how they offensive rebound and rebound on both ends. Everybody got to box out. We got to gain rebound, and how well they push on the break. If we can play a half-court game, I think we'll be in great shape.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, their bigs run really well the floor, which was something that we were impressed with. They're physical, they rebound. But they play a lot like us, which is kind of cool. So we kind of match up really well. They do a lot of things, and they compete, they defend, they rebound. Some of the stuff that we concentrate on. So it'll be a fun game because it's two teams that play kind of similar going against each other.
In the back row, if you can give your name and media, yeah, go ahead, in the back.
Shannon Ryan, Chicago Tribune. For Dwayne, if you could just tell the story of how you made it from London to Bradley and Peoria, how that happens. And Elijah, there's players from 7 different countries, including the United States. If you could just describe what it's like and what you've learned about different cultures or things that maybe surprised you, or how it's helped you grow or expand your viewpoint.
Elijah, why don't you go ahead and answer the second part, and then we'll come back with Dwayne.
I think it's been pretty fun playing with international guys that's not from the U.S. I've learned a lot about them, and I learned their style of play and our style of play. And going over there, I took an overseas trip. Going over there, I think I learned a lot, just of how they operate and how things go over there. So it's been really fun playing with these guys, and I love them like they're my brothers. So hope we can make a run in the tournament.
My story is kind of funny. I played for a team in Bristol, and they had a couple Americans on the team. from word of mouth, one of my teammates spoke to some people he knew in America because he knew I wanted to play college basketball. I don't know how it managed to happen, but word of mouth ended up getting my name to Coach Drew Adams when he was just leaving New Mexico and just got hired by Coach Wardle and the rest of the staff at Bradley. He messaged me on Facebook, said that he watched some film of me and really liked me, said that he wanted to bring my mother and I on a visit. I came on a visit maybe a week after we actually spoke, and I loved my time on my visit and actually committed on my visit to Bradley. The coaches spoke about changing the program from the ground up, and they said I'd be able to be a part of that from the start, and I was really sold on that, and being able to take the program where it was my freshman year to where it is now is just incredible.
Going to go to the front row. Here you go.
Dwayne, this week in practice, Kenny Goins, Michigan State's power forward, talked about that you guys do the scrappy, gritty things like they do. Is there a sense of excitement knowing, okay, this is just going to be a physical, bang-it-out battle, that you're going to get to play people like you? Is that kind of what basketball should be? Do you enjoy that aspect of it?
We thrive on it. Our group is a group of competitors. We go at it every day in practice, and to be able to do it now on the biggest stage is just exciting for us. This is what March basketball is about. I grew up watching from across the pond in London, wanted to be a part of this, and then now to be able to play in a game where it works well for us is just exciting. We're all pumped and ready to go.
Other questions? Still have another 5 minutes in this session. If there are no other questions, we're dismissed the student athletes. Again, the Bradley locker room will be open until 11:50. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Bradley coach Wardle, Brian Wardle, will be up here at 11:20. The Bradley locker room, I should be corrected, is open until 11:35 for one-on-ones. We're going to start the session with the Bradley head coach in a couple minutes. We're going to go about 5 minutes early, just giving you heads up. This time we're ready to begin our session with Bradley head coach. The Bradley Braves won the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament Championship. They will be making their 9th tournament appearance and first since 2006. Bradley's the number 15 seed. They will play number 2 seed Michigan State in a first-round game Thursday, scheduled for 1:45 tip-off. I'd like to welcome head coach Brian Wardle in his 4th year. Welcome back to Des Moines.
Well, thank you. It's we always enjoy coming to Des Moines and have had tremendous hospitality so far since we've been here. So it's been a great pleasure. We're excited to be in the NCAA tournament. Excited to be back after 13 years and 3rd time in 31 years for the program. And couldn't be prouder of our group. We've had a great week of practice. I think the focus is at a high level. We know we're up for a big challenge against a very good team, a great coach, great program, and I just know that all our guys are really excited for this opportunity and getting out there and showcasing what Bradley's about, but more importantly also what the Missouri Valley's about.
This time we take questions. Front row, please give your name, affiliation.
Hondo Carpenter with Spartan Nation. Brian, Michigan State and you are both gritty teams. You're grinded out teams. You do the little things that maybe don't show up in the stat sheet. As a coach, is it fun to compete with people who mirror you a little bit and kind of play that same kind of game?
Absolutely. I'd say, we kind of mirror Michigan State in a way. I have a lot of respect for Coach Izzo. I had Mike Dean as my coach at Marquette, who's a Judd Heath coach, kind of disciple. I had Tom Crean, who came from, obviously, the Tom Izzo tree. And a lot of what we do is very similar when it comes to tough man-to-man, rebounding as an emphasis for us. We like to get up and down when the opportunities are there and push it, and then we'll try to execute in the half court. So it's a great challenge. The competitor in me is excited about the opportunity, and I know our guys are too.
Other questions? On the aisle?
Cole Breedall, Bradley Scout. Coach, you guys had an extra week to prepare over Michigan State. Do you see that as an advantage or kind of a detriment?
It's hard to tell. I think I called a lot of coaches who have, especially from our league, that have had success in the tournament with our time gap between our tournament and the NCAA, and just asked them, what were some of the things you did? What would you try to do? And I thought our game plan as a staff was pretty accurate on what most teams did. We tried to do as many things as game speed as possible. We scrimmaged a little bit, but we also got the rest. So will we be rusty? I hope not. We had a great practice this morning. It was intense. It was up and down. And I think it's been important that we scrimmage a little bit to try to stay as sharp as possible. But this time of year, I know players want to play. They don't want to sit around very long at all. I mean, once you get to January, that's their mentality. So keeping them engaged, keeping them sharp. I think we've done a pretty good job of that, but tomorrow will tell.
On the aisle?
Danny Lawhon, Des Moines Register. Coach, I know that the situation with Dave Reynolds was resolved, in course, over the weekend. But I kind of think that we at least need to ask on one level, why did you think that you had that perception of what the local coverage there was like, and what do you think you ultimately learned from that entire situation as you try to move forward with how you work with everybody as the years go on?
Well, I had a great talk with Dave face-to-face on Sunday, and I apologized to him for not handling the situation very well. And we had a great talk, and we're excited to meet after the season and work some things out and continue to build our relationship. And, I learned a lot. And I think what's important is that when you talk to your team, we've built this program on, high-character young men, accountability, responsibility, discipline, unselfishness, being honest communicators. And we've grown the program every year and improved it every year. I think in the classroom, in the community, and on the floor. And one of the things you teach your kids a lot is what's hard for them is when you make a mistake, you got to admit it, you got to own it, and then you got to teach a lot of young men now, if apology is necessary, you got to apologize, and you got to own it. And then you got to learn from it and grow and move on. And I think that lesson I tell my kids all the time. I've done it before, and I did it on Sunday again. And I think hopefully we've all learned that you own things, you move on, you learn, and you grow. And then you keep moving forward, and you try not to repeat mistakes.
Other questions? Back to the aisle here.
Coach, obviously none of your players have played in the NCAA tournament, but this is even a first for you. So who do you look to in preparing for something like this?
Well, you reach out to your mentors, and you talk to, like I said, I talked to other coaches about the preparation side of things, but a lot of them just said, just really enjoy it, and especially for your student athletes, for your young men. Enjoy the moment. We fear none, respect all. I mean, we're coming in to compete now, and we're coming in to play, but I want these guys to enjoy the moment out here, enjoy the media, enjoy the hotel, enjoy all the Bradley fans that will be here, and just try to take in those memories, because really life is about memories. You forget the games, you forget your stats. I tell them all the time, when you get to my age, you forget all that stuff, but you remember the bonding, the hotel, your teammates, all the funny stories in practice on the bus. And I said, just try to soak all that in as much as you can, because that's what it's all about.
In the front row.
Brian, when you watch Michigan State on film, can you just give us your initial thoughts? I know we talked about them playing like you, but the initial thoughts and breakdown.
Well, when you call other coaches, and you know what Michigan State stands for, you know what their identity is. That's why they're a great program. They have that strong identity. They're very good in transition. You got to get back, and you got to rebound with them, right? I mean, you have to rebound with them. And then everyone talks about the toughness, the physicality, and all of that I hear. But what I watch on film, when I studied them Sunday night and the last 2 days, they're a very smart team. They do not beat themselves. And I love how they're all stars in their role. I think you look at their team, no one goes outside their lane. They stay in their lane, they do their job, and they do it very, very well. And they don't try to take crazy shots from three if they're not a three-point shooter. They just do their job, and they are stars in their roles. And that's why they're so consistent, I think, even through some injuries. And that's why they're a really good program.
Back in the aisle there. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll go right over on the right side. Go ahead.
There's a real international flavor to your kids' roster this year. Besides learning how to become a team on the floor, what has the whole cultural learning been for this particular group of players, and how has that kind of impressed itself upon you, I guess, this year too?
That's been great for all of us. I think we had a chance to go to London and Netherlands this summer and go to D'Lo and Luke's home. And, just having guys from different diversities, different cultures. We do presentations, in the summertime every year where everyone talks about their home city and their family and all the traditions they have with their family, and just to get educated on a whole different way of really thinking in a way. and a way of living, I think, is great for our guys to experience. Like we were, for instance, example this morning, we were having breakfast. Well, Luke Van Bray from Netherlands, he's always the last one to finish his meal. And we always laugh. The whole team jokes because Luke is just a slow eater. Because when Luke came over here, he goes to me and like the first 3 months, Coach, why is everyone in a rush here? Everyone's in a rush. He goes, I like to take my time. We take our time over in the Netherlands. And so just things like that for our guys to experience and talk about is a lot of fun for our group.
Chase Michelson, State News. Oh,
Gotcha.
left
Yeah,
aisle.
sorry. Yep.
I was just talking to your point guard, and obviously we were talking about Michigan State's point guard in that matchup. How do you kind of assess, your team's kind of both led by point guards. What do you think Daryl can do well against a guy like Cassius?
Well, I think Daryl has drawn a lot of attention all year, and he's done an unbelievable job of handling not only the pressure of being our leading scorer and having the ball in his hands a lot, just getting double teamed, getting bigger, always getting the bigger, best defender on him every game on the perimeter and a bigger guard usually. For Daryl, though, I think we got to get out in transition. I think he is a weapon on the floor, and you can't measure a person's heart. And I think he has a huge heart, a huge work ethic. He has all the intangibles that you want in a point guard. And I think he can change a game in a minute or two. There's not many guys that can do that. But I think Daryl is that for us. He is a constant threat. Anytime he's on the floor, he can rally off 3 or 4 threes in a minute or two, and he's done that for us throughout the year. So if we can set good screens for him, free him up a little bit, get him going, then usually the rest takes care of itself. But for Daryl, it's also all gas, no brakes. I always say that phrase all the time. And when he has the gas pedal down the whole game and never lets off, he's going to be productive.
Go back to the left side aisle.
Coach, obviously Lundy stepped up big for you in that game against UNI. You have a deep roster, but who do you look to if you find yourself down again, who are you going to look to step up like he did?
Well, I think we're at our best when we play as a team. And we have very unselfish kids. Whoever's hot at the time, that's who they'll be talking about in the huddle. Let's get him the ball. Let's get him the ball. And that's how it was in the championship game. Everybody was saying, let's get L the ball. He's feeling it. And Lukeman hasn't been our main scoring threat the majority of the year, but that tells you kind of the type of group we have. And whoever's getting it going, whatever matchup we like, I think that's what we'll try to attack.
Other questions? We still have 5 minutes in the session. Back to the aisle.
Coach, obviously you got a pretty close draw to Peoria. How well do you think Peoria will travel here, and how will that benefit you?
I think you'll see a lot of red tomorrow for sure. I think we were hoping, you just never know in the selection process where you fall, but I know a lot of our fans were hoping that it would be here, and it's a 4-hour drive for us, 4.5 hours, so it's not too far, and we got a lot of fans in Chicago too, and it's only a 5-hour trip from there, so I think you'll see a lot of Braves fans coming out tomorrow in a lot of red, and we call them the Red Sea is our student section, but you'll see a Red Sea of all our fans, I think, tomorrow in the arena.
Back to the aisle there, left side.
Brian, just obviously the fact that you guys were down so much, in the championship game, in what's essentially a play-in game, a tournament game, how do you think that translates? If tomorrow you do get down against a team like Michigan State, there's no fear in this team. What are those processes like?
Well, I think it's a resiliency we've had throughout the year. It's a connected, committed group to each other. We've matured a lot as a group. It's become a player-led team. I always say that leadership and getting from being a coach-led team to a player-led team was a big step for us there, and there's no doubt we did that. But we do not want to be down 18 to Michigan State tomorrow. Let me make that clear. And we definitely do not want to have 15 points at halftime like we did, because they're too explosive of a team, as we all know. But down 2 or 3 or 4 possessions, our group's going to battle. I mean, we've shown that all year. We have a lot of heart. We have toughness. And even if the shots aren't falling, we got to stay committed to the defense and rebounding. I think if we can do that, we can play with anybody.
Other questions? If not, Coach, wish you best of luck tomorrow, and the Bradley locker room will be open until 11:35. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone.